we are, we're back, and this time I've got another mechanism from Paper Paul, and I'm not sure that I've quite got it right, but anyway, I really like it as it's a moving arm that as you open and close the page, it lifts the arm. Most moving arms are flush with the page and they rotate on the page, or some of them are based on a sort of V-fold built into a gully, but this is something completely different. Anyway, this is the way it works. It's based on a box mechanism, and this is the box mechanism. It's tutorial 14. Here's the base I've got. These are the pieces I've got to make the basic box. They're all drawn up in squares, and I just used the width of my ruler. So I used the ruler to draw up the squares. It happens to be 3.5 centimeters wide. That's not really important. Anyway, you have two of these that are 3 squares wide. You have one that's 2 squares wide, and you have one that's 4 squares wide. Start with the 3 squares wide, and we glue one end. I've creased all the folds already. It's glued, one end is glued with the crease flush with the spine. Then you lay it out so it's going to be in the closed position. Put glue on the other end. Lay it down flat and close the base so it finds where it wants to stick. So that's one parallelogram. Take the next piece that's 3 squares wide, put glue on one end, and stick that flush with the spine as well. So that's right up against the other one. Put glue on the other end. Fold it into its, smear the glue. Right up to the crease. Put it in its closed position and close the base. Now I've got the 2 parallelograms. And now we put glue between them so they stick back to back. There we go. And again, close it. So this is a wobbly structure. So now you take the one which is just 2 squares. You can put glue on both the tabs at each end at the same time. And smear it as ever. You stick it across there with a tab on each of the outside edges of this box. Shut it down. So this is the basic box, and this piece locks it into shape, so it's no longer a wobbly mechanism. This is going to be the figure. In this one that I made before, it just seems really sort of wobbly. I'm not happy with it, so I thought maybe I can improve it by making it double thickness. I've folded it down the middle so it gives it more rigidity. Put glue all around it. There we are. Now this sticks onto one of the end panels. And as the page closes, that moves out. So you just stick it onto one side. The moving arm is attached to a hub. So this is going to stick onto one panel. I've built a hub. The arms go through the hole. Hubs and pivots. They're on tutorial 27. That explains exactly how these work. So that is a hub. Make sure once this is glued, make sure that just moves nice and sweetly, moves easily. And then we can glue this onto that one panel there. Make sure that closes. Yes, it does. So that's that. Now, the other thing is the mechanism that actually moves the arm. This is another strip. This one's got 4 squares on it. And so I'm going to stick 2 back to back. That goes like this. When the box closes, when the base closes, the top of the box goes down. You need the pillar in the middle. That's what pushes up the lid, and the lid pushes up the side. That's what gives you the structure. But it means that as it closes, the lid goes down. Whereas for this mechanism, you want a lid that comes up. So this is an extra piece that goes on the top like this, whereas the lid of the actual box goes down. This will go up. I'll glue that on next. I can put glue on both tabs at the same time. So these stick right on the outer edges of the top of the box like that. Just close that to make sure that's all working. Now we need a piece that goes on the back of the hub. So I'm just going to put a piece, I guess, like that. Maybe I'll put it like that, and then we can trim it down afterwards. So you've got to be careful with the glue here, because you want this to stick on really well, but at the same time you don't want it to gum up the works. So I'll put that across on like that. So we want the glue to go off, but we want it to still be moving. So yeah, that's okay. Bit delicate, that bit. This is the arm piece. Well, on Paper Paul's model, he seems to attach it to both sides of the hub. So I could do that. On my model here, I did it like this. It's just single. It doesn't go on both sides. So I'm not at all sure that it matters. I'll just cut a strip like this. This is going to be the moving arm. I might make it a little bit narrower. Again, this is delicate gluing because don't want it to gum things up. So I'll put it on very gently, not too much. So here we go. Is that still moving? Yes, nicely. So now the crucial bit is the piece that joins this, the piece that joins this to this. I've tried to make it so that the hole is virtually at the top of this piece here. I'm going to put another piece on to make sure that I can reach that. Otherwise, as you can see, as it closes, these are coming a long way apart. I don't want that. I want it to be, maybe if I do it like that, let's see. When it's closed, this is down. As it opens, this goes up. So let me just put another piece in like this. I'll cut most of this grey bit off. So the only important thing is that it's stuck to the hub. So I cut most of that off. This is the piece that is supposed to join the two. So I think if I stick that onto, now look at the crease I had on there, it goes like that. So I'll stick that onto there and then join it onto the other one. See what happens. One thing Paper Paul really encourages in some of his videos is to experiment. And he says the way to learn how pop-up is working is to keep experimenting with it. So now stick that onto there, see what happens. Now it wants to go the other way, doesn't it? So unstick that. Sorry, you're not able to see what I'm doing. Unstick that. Turn that right round. Let me close it and see where it wants to go when it's closed. Not too bad, actually. I'm quite pleased. It is actually working. It's definitely working better than this one. I was fed up because the yellow bit was really sagging. By making this double, the orange bit double thickness, I think that has sort of sorted out the sagging. Looking at the back, there's something not entirely comfortable as it moves, but at the same time, it seems that I think maybe playing with this angle might make a difference. But anyway, I do think the whole thing does work. Presumably, as the hub is moving and it's moving the arm, you could stick more than one arm onto that. You could also stick other pieces onto it. Also, this orange piece, it doesn't have to be rectangular. You could make this any sort of shape, humanoid, animal. The arm could be anything. It could have bends in it. You could have other bits added on. You can just keep adding. Also, the box at the back. Gullies, ridges and planes all have possibilities for being extended. So there it is. It's another form of moving arm that can be played with.